the Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
Now entering the game for Philly Pressbox Radio, Bill Furman and Jim Chet Chesko.
It's Wednesday, October 22nd, 2025. Welcome to the Philly Pressbox Radio Roundtable, brought to you by the Irish Rover Station House in Langhorne, PA, Cavs, Philly Tailgates, and the STT Sports Network. I'm Bill Furman. I'll be your host tonight, along with my partner, Jim Chet Chesko. Chet, the Eagles bounced back with a nice road win in Minnesota. The Flyers finished an early homestand, winning 3 of 4. The Phillies have announced the entire coaching staff will be back in 2026. Wow. And yes, the Sixers, Chet, Sixers opened their NBA regular season tonight in Boston. We have plenty to talk about in Philly sports.
Well, Bill, we are all still trying to cope with that Phillies, early ouster from the postseason. We will get through this, but watching an impressive Eagles win on Sunday, helped our moods. The Flyers have looked good, over 500 already this season. That's nice. And yes, Bill, another 76er season will tip off about a half hour from now for those folks watching us live. So as Tom McGinnis would say,
get excited.
There you go.
Well, it scares me that you're excited because they've given you nothing to be excited about, and you're all fired up about them.
All right. I'm not fired up. I'm going into this cautiously semi-optimistic. I'm not expecting the title. I'm not even expecting
a title.
I'm not even expecting a playoff run. We will get to our predictions later in the show, Bill.
Oh, we have a great returning guest tonight in Philly.com. Sixers beat writer Keith Pompey to talk all things Sixers. And we have a first-time visitor, Daniel Roebuck, joining us. Tell us about Daniel, Chet.
Daniel is an actor. He's a character actor who I know everyone has seen in one TV show or movie or another, from the original Lost, the original Matlock, I should say, to Lost, to 911, to films including The Fugitive, U.S. Marshals, Final Destination, Terrifier 3, and many, many more. And yeah, he happens to have been born and raised in the Lehigh Valley, Bethlehem to be precise. And he's, of course, therefore, an Eagles fan. I can't wait for everyone to meet Daniel Roebuck. He is a terrific guy.
Well, we'll get to that a little bit later, Chet, but let's talk about the Eagles. We got to see a Jalen Hurts offensive clinic Sunday in Minnesota. 19 of 23, 326 yards, 3 touchdowns,
look at that.
13.4 yards per attempt, a 158.3 QBR, the third perfect game in Eagles history. I take that, haters. Back on 183 yards for Devontae Smith, 121 for A.J. Brown. It was a banner day for the Eagles passing game that they can't do. They're no good at it.
Yeah, they look great. The offense looked terrific. A bit of after the first drive, which was more run heavy, they went into a little bit of a lull for a while, but we got worried when the second half started. Would they be able to, get back into it? And they did. The offense looked terrific. Even in the fourth quarter, they didn't take their, foot off the gas pedal. Came up with some big throws when a lot of people thought they might run. A couple of great ones to A.J. Brown. And as you said, Devontae with the day of his young life. So really, really impressive. And yeah, you got to give Jalen Hurts all the credit in the world for his performance.
Well, it's funny that you say that because I got a bone to pick with you because I thought you were going to go right there. You and the beard of knowledge. You and the beard of knowledge. No one wants to recognize the adjustments that Kevin Patullo made in the 10 days between games when they came out under center, running play action passes, clearing a lot of open space for the passing lanes. No one's giving Kevin Patullo. They wanted to fire him all season long.
Okay.
They pull a rabbit out of the hat, not a rabbit out of the hat, made a nice move offensively in the game plan, and they executed it well.
The people who are asking him to be fired are just ridiculous. People jump to conclusions. I was never in that camp. My God, it's 6 games into the season, now 7. That's just crazy. So, they're still getting their feet under them this season, figuring out what they're doing under the new OC. Last year, of course, they started off 2-2 and then shifted more to the running game with Saquon Barkley. This year, they started off 2-2 and then eventually, or 4-0 rather, but then 4-2. And, there's still a lot of concerns about the offense. So Patullo is making adjustments. I will give him credit. So there's still a long way to go.
Had to drag it out of you like pulling a tooth.
Not at all. I was never in the fire Patullo camp. There's still a long way to go. Let's get this game on Sunday. Beat the Giants. You go into the break 5-2. No, 6-2. That would be 6-2. And then the bye, and then you go out to Green Bay. So, yeah, things are looking good.
And I think 6-2 is where we thought they would be probably. We didn't think they'd lose the 2 they lost, and maybe one couple we didn't necessarily think they would win. But at the end of the day, if you can go in at 8 games with a 6-2 record, that's a pretty good place to be. And back to the whole offensive scheme and the play action and all that, that's only going to help Saquon Barkley too. So things are going to have to change on the opposing defenses, and I think that's good for the Eagles offense for sure.
Well, that remains the one big concern. Well, one of a few concerns. Saquon Barkley, he's averaging 3 yards a carry this year?
3.3. Yeah, 3.3.
Okay.
That's not Saquon, though. Probably
a lot of it's the offensive line. The offensive line
the
banged up.
line.
And now, Cam Jurgens hurt. And Toth did not look all that great as far as blocking. And he might have been part of the reason they went more under center as well, according to some folks.
Well, right. And they kept Saquon in to block a little bit. They had a tight end in. They had some heavy set formations with some help. But, when the matchups were there, they liked what they could get in AJ and Devontae in single coverage, and they played it well. I thought, back to Patullo, I thought he called a really nice game.
Yeah, he did.
And again, they executed it. But things are going to open up a little bit for Saquon when they keep doing creative things like this. So, and
as PJ says, we all want to see him break some. He had all those 60-yard runs last year. I think 7 of them, including the playoffs. This year, he doesn't have anything over 20, I don't believe. So, get him going.
Yeah, and I think again the big thing comes back to the fact that he is not getting yardage before contact. Last year, he got a lot of yardage before contact, and this year, it's not quite gone that way. So. And if he can rush for 45 yards a game and they throw for 300 and wins are what matters. So, the other thing about that game, the defense held the Vikings to 5 field goals.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There were times I wasn't sure they were playing that great. But then again, they held them when they needed to and held them to field goals and traded touchdowns for field goals. That's where you want to be.
Joe asks, is AJ hurt? He did not practice today. I didn't hear an update on that. So I don't know if it was just, a day of rest or, something minor. Didn't hear anything, but yeah, AJ Brown did not practice today. And, he, I guess, did some other cryptic tweeting or whatever the other day. Just ignore it. Let the guy play.
Right. Well, and we'll get to it when we make our picks, but Vegas still thinks the Eagles are going to bounce back. They have them at a 7.5-point favorite.
They do. And Brandon Graham back as an Eagle. We should mention that. Don't know if he's going to play this Sunday. They might want to give him, the full couple of weeks off, which would make sense because they do have the bye next week. And then, take him out to Green Bay for the November 10th Monday night game. So welcome back, BG.
Yeah, that's what I'd expect to see is he's got to get into some sort of playing shape. But, he's certainly not the answer in the long haul. But with him, you know what you're going to get. And it's going to be 1,000% on, running around like his hair's on fire and trying to make plays. So with the situation they're in, why not?
Exactly. And, for people who are watching us, especially on YouTube, be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons if you haven't yet already. Phil always reminds everybody, smash that like and subscribe button. It is free to do so, and we would appreciate your support.
Hey, Robbie posted up there hamstring.
Okay.
I did not know that. So
now is that Robbie's hamstring or AJ Brown's hamstring?
I don't don't think Robbie hurt her hamstring that I know of. But
I don't know. She's chasing those cats around her house all the time. So.
Hey, Chet, we mentioned in the opening the Sixers open up tonight in Boston. So you and I sat down last night with our first guest, Keith Pompey, since Keith is flying to Boston and will be there for the game tonight. It was definitely an interesting discussion, and Keith always has great takes, realistic takes.
Yeah, Keith is really good for sure. And it was great to get his insight as far as, what he thinks is going to happen this year. But there's so many unknowns, with the health of Joel Embiid, of course, and Paul George. Paul George not in the lineup tonight. We're not sure yet exactly when we will see PG. But McCain also out for the first few weeks of the season. But everybody else is healthy. And, there is some optimism. I'm not overly optimistic, Bill, so don't put any words in my mouth. But should we play the interview?
We will, and we'll find out how optimistic you are when you make your pick.
All right. Here we go. Let's do it. Keith Pompey with us last night.
Let's welcome back our man with all the Sixers coverage, Keith Pompey. Keith, welcome back. Let's talk some Sixers, and then we're going to talk some football.
Please no. Only playing.
All right, Keith. Yeah, as Bill said, welcome back. And you know this, a lot of Philadelphia fans are down on the 76ers these days after, the numerous quick playoff exits, and especially after what happened last year, just a disaster of a season, 24 wins, injuries galore. So from your vantage point, you've been there as a beat reporter through training camp and the preseason games. What is the mood right now among the players and I guess the coach, Nick Nurse, too, as a new season begins?
You know what? It seems like more so from the players, there's a lot of excitement. It's kind of like I'll just tell you this. This is the first time since I've been around that the players came and showed up 3 weeks before training camp. That I can remember. And there's always a lot of guys there 7 o'clock in the morning before Nick Nurse arrives for a 10 o'clock practice, already putting time in the gym. So the 76ers are extremely motivated. They're excited. They're excited about this new style of play that they're having. But again, they haven't played any games yet. You know what I mean? It's always everybody's undefeated in the preseason, right? So you have that. In regards to Nick Nurse, Nick Nurse and are, eager, but at the same time, they want to see what type of team that they have. And they won't know that until, they roll the ball out and heck, they may win, they may lose the first game, but you really don't know what you have until 12 games in. And then that's if you have a healthy roster.
Well, speaking of health, obviously everything revolves around Joel Embiid. What's the status on him, and both for the short term and down the stretch a little bit?
Here's the thing. Embiid will play against the Boston Celtics. Embiid has basically looked good the last couple of days. He played in Friday's game. They had off on Saturday. He practiced Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Know about Joel Embiid. He rarely practices or rarely practiced in the past, but he's doing that. Now, the thing about moving forward, it gets a little tricky because the 76ers are saying that they do not want to rush him back. They do not want to put a lot of pressure on him. And that's in regards to playing, back-to-backs, playing, having certain days off and saying, okay, well, you're going to have off on Monday, but we need you to play on Thursday. But they're not going out and doing that this year. They're basically going to do a day-to-day approach and basically see how he feels. So I think it's up to him. And what Joel Embiid is saying is that he felt like last year he wasn't ready to play, and there were certain games that he wasn't ready to play, but the team was struggling, and he felt like he had to go out there, which led to his knee not improving. So it's one of those things that's fluid. And if you're a coach, you really don't want to hear this because you don't know what you have, right? It's hard to prepare and plan.
So in that final exhibition game, Embiid did start. He played well, and he played alongside Adem Bona. Could they really do that, roll that out a lot this season? Two bigs at 4 and 5?
And it's crazy, but I think they may have to, right? At least to start the games. So I think that, at this particular time, when you look at Joel Embiid, they have Joel Embiid playing power forward when these two guys are in the game together. But you look at it. So who jumps the opening tip? Adem Bona. Who's the guy who's doing the early rim protection? Adem Bona. What Joel Embiid is doing is they're getting out and go. He's trailing. He's standing at the elbow, facing the basket, kind of sort of like being the point guard out there or just distributing the rock. And that's why he was able to get 8 assists that game in 18 minutes. So, but this is what they're going to do, though. Adem Bona is going to start on the nights he does start. I don't envision him staying in there for an extended period of time. He'll start, then all of a sudden he'll get subbed out early. They'll bring in a power forward. Joel Embiid will go to the 5. And then what happens is when it's time for Joel to go out, Adem comes right back in, and then he assumes the role as the backup center. But in regards to the opening tip and all those other things, I think is a matter of, saving Joel's legs and everything like that.
Interesting. Well, we'll get to Paul George shortly, I'm sure, but I'm more interested in Jared McCain. What's that looking like? He looks like he could be a pretty good young player. Got to be healthy.
Yeah, and I feel so sorry for Jared McCain. You think about it. This guy has only played in 20-something games, right? He hasn't played since December. He had surgery, I want to say 3 weeks ago. So on his thumb, he tore a ligament in his right thumb, his shooting hand. And he's going to be reevaluated next week. Now, the deal is this injury is basically a 4 to 6 week injury. But then now he has to get fitted for a brace. Then you got to go out there and get your conditioning back up. You got to work on your shot, a lot of things. And then you have to feel what it's going to feel like when the ball hits you or somebody hits your thumb, right? So, the Sixers are hopeful. You feel sorry for Jared because he's a great guy. And also, he's a guy who really wants to go out there and play. He really does. So, we'll see what happens. But he gets reevaluated next week.
Okay, so that was last year's rookie. We hope he gets back soon. But how about this year's rookie, VJ Edgecombe? He's been impressive. Looked really good, in the summer and then in the final preseason game last Friday. Is he going to start or get a whole lot of playing time?
He is going to start. Yeah, he's definitely going to start. What they want to do is they want to get Tyrese Maxey off the ball. They want Tyrese Maxey to get out in space and where someone passes the ball to him and he can go downhill, right? So you're looking at VJ Edgecombe, and VJ Edgecombe is most likely going to be the point guard, right? And what they're trying to do is it's one of those things where they want these two guys to be paired together as much as possible. And they've been doing this since I want to say before training camp even started. Like when they were coming there doing those informal workouts, they had these two guys paired together, and so they could see what they can do, how they look together. So yeah, he's definitely going to start. They like his ball handling ability. Now again, he's not breaking people down. He's not doing anything, a lot of crazy stuff. He's bringing the ball up, and then next thing you know, they get into their sets, and then they start moving the ball around. But that's a way of just getting Tyrese Maxey off the ball and allowing him to get to the spot that he wants to be at.
Keith, have we reached a point that the transition where this is Tyrese Maxey's team, or are we still building this thing around Joel Embiid?
That's a great question. I mean, that's $1 million question because ideally, you hope and pray that if you're the 76ers coaching staff, that it's still Joel's team. And what that would mean is, Joel's still playing at elite level. He's unstoppable and everything like that. But at this time being, since it's so early on, you do see that transition, right? You see where, the way it is with the way that they have Joel playing, he's more of a facilitator role right now. It could change once he gets more and more comfortable being out there. But you also look at the pieces that they have in the roster now. They got a lot of young athletic guys who like to get up and down and run. And you look at Maxey, that kind of benefits his style of play and his game. Now, again, They are going to play two different styles. Like when Joel and Paul George both play, slow it up a little bit. But when they're not out there, they're going to go fast. So by doing that, you look at it and you can see the transition is starting to switch, right? But going through Joel and having a healthy Joel Embiid gives them the best chance to win. So with that said, I think that, they're planning for the future, but they're hopeful. They're hopeful that Joel can, go back to being a normal Joel.
Keith, much of the offseason was spent wondering whether Quentin Grimes would return to the fold. He did, of course, and will likely be a key contributor. He had several standout games last year in the absence of, the big stars. But how good is Grimes, and what are they expecting from him this year?
The thing about Grimes is I think Grimes is a good player. And the thing, a lot of people look at him and they say, you know what? Okay. Yeah, he scored 40-something points, but he did it in games where both teams were tanking. Both teams were tanking, right? And also, how many games did they win? And that's a great question. They didn't win any of them, right? So when you look at it, you say to yourself, like, okay, I don't know about this guy. However, when he was with Dallas, he put up some pretty good scoring performances, right? He came off the bench. He started some games. So he is a quality player. Now, in regards to how good he can be, I think personally at this particular time, Quentin Grimes will be solid off the bench, right? At this particular time. And the reason being is because I feel like that will enable him to have like a Lou Williams role where he doesn't have to compete with people to get shots. He's going to be the guy when they take Joel and Maxey out, and he can just go out there and get buckets. I feel like if he's in the starting lineup with him, VJ Edgecombe, Maxey, Embiid, whatever, it's kind of like, okay, stand in the corner and shoot threes. You're not really going to create. So I do think that when we're talking about being good, I do feel as though like, he can have a shot as being a solid sixth man for the Sixers this year, and that will help his cause next year trying to get paid.
Keith, Chet had the roster up there a minute ago. Are there any real surprises to you? Eric Gordon, 36 years old. Kyle Lowry, 39 years old. Are there really spots for these guys to contribute?
I don't think so. No, I think that what Kyle is going to be, Kyle is kind of like player coach, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you look at Kyle, he hasn't suited up for any of the preseason games, right? But what he does do is when guys come out the game, he's like over there coaching them up, even when they're in the game. You go to practice, you go to shoot around. Next thing you know, you see Kyle, he pulls a guy over to the side and says, hey, man, let's talk. Let's talk about practice, right? And he's, coaching them up. The thing about Eric Gordon, and that's a great question. I was at practice on Tuesday, and after practice, and he's sitting there with VJ Edgecombe. They're both members of the Bahamian national team. He's a mentor to VJ. And I'm watching him shoot the ball. And there's no one in the gym, not even Quentin Grimes, who can shoot the ball better than Gordon. The problem is though, he's older, he's been around for a while, and will he kill you on the defensive end, right? So I think that's probably going to be a concern. But I do think that in certain situations, if you need someone to come in there and stretch the floor for you, he can do it, but he may get exposed the longer he's out there on the floor. That wasn't the case last year. I felt like the longer he played, the better he played. But right now with this young team and the way they want to get up and go, you have to ask yourself, can he keep up? And is he going to be attacked? Are people going to seek him out on the defensive end?
Hey, Keith, the Sixers announced that they're going to wear the old black uniforms for select games again this year. And the other big news, hip-hop is going to be back for select games. You excited about that, Keith?
Not really with the unis, you know what I mean? And it's nothing about that, but it's like, here, first of all, it's not really the real uniforms either. Like I don't think
Yeah.
people understand. Like, because if you look at it, you remember how they used to have the sleeves cut off, like just cut off. Like they were like looked like they were t-shirts, but they cut off the sleeves, right? Well, this one is a regular jersey, and all a black jersey that just has the same emblem as it did before. So it's kind of like a more modern variation of it. Like, to me, if you're going to do the throwback, just go ahead and do what AI and them actually wore, But here's the thing. I think a lot of people are excited, but y'all both know, you've been around this city for a while, that I don't care. If you're winning, everyone loves it. If you're struggling, people like, take those jerseys off. You lost 7 games in a row with it.
Hey, Keith, we skipped over Paul George. What's the status on George, and we going to get anything out of him this year?
That's a great question, and I'm going to answer the second one first. Because, to me, when you look at Paul George, right, you say to yourself about Paul, like, the biggest question is, was he injured or was he cooked? I mean, like, which one was it, right? Which one is it?
Right.
Yeah.
Right? So to me, it's like I'm asking myself that, was he injured or cooked? I don't know. Like, I just honestly don't know. And I want to find that out. Now, in regards to his injury thing, he, like Embiid, he practiced all 3 days. But here's the thing with Paul George. Like, I think that when you've been out for so long, the biggest thing is the conditioning. And I also look at the 76ers, and I think that, they're probably looking at it like, okay, we're not going to play you right now. We're going to get you some more practices because we'll have a couple days in between games. And then all of a sudden we play 3 games in 4 nights. But then after that, we have 2 more days of practice. So I would not be surprised, and I could be wrong, but this is just me. I would not be surprised if we don't see Paul George until their game on October 31st at the Wells Fargo Center, because that gives him a lot of practice time. And how he looked, Nick Nurse was saying that he looks great on the defensive end, and that's coming along a little bit quicker than it is offensively. So that could be, conditioning, his shot isn't there, things like that.
All right, Bill's got a football question for you, but before he does that, I want to ask you one thing. We make our official NBA or Sixers predictions later in the show, Bill and I. Last year, we had you on the same time of the year, and we were all off with our predictions. You said 51 wins last year. Bill and I said 47 and 46. But they won 24 games. We don't know how many games Embiid's going to play. We don't know how many games Paul George is going to play, so it's really tough. But what is your prediction, Keith? How many wins?
Oh, that's a tough one. It might even be tougher than it's going to be tougher than last year, even though I really missed that.
We all did.
We all messed that one up. Yo, I'm glad I didn't bet my house. But you know what? I think around 40, 41 wins. I mean, and again, that's if Embiid and Paul George play well. I think they can go on maybe some type of run, but this team is so uncertain. I think that is a mid team. So I'm going to give them a mid record, 41, 42 wins.
Sounds good, Bill.
There you go. Well, Keith, I was all prepared to take my lumps from you because I give you the business pretty hard about Penn State and Pitt. And, of course, the Giants beat the dirt out of the Eagles the other night. So I was ready to take my lumps until your New York Football Giants laid a 33-point egg in the fourth quarter on Sunday. We're even, pal.
Yeah, we're even. And I'm gonna tell you what, man. I was ducking you on Facebook. I was like, "Oh, Bill's gonna kill me. He's gonna kill me."
That was tough to watch.
I just put an alert out to be sure you were okay. Whoa!
Hey, Keith, I like your Locked On podcast that you do. It's great. Tell everybody where they can find that and all of your work with the Inquirer.
Oh, I appreciate that. Yes, you can find the Locked On 76ers podcast. You can do it on YouTube, or you could go wherever you get your podcasts at. Also, you can read my stuff in the Philadelphia Inquirer, which is online, inquirer.com. I try to have a story daily in there about the 76ers.
Very good, Keith. Well, hey, we certainly thank you for doing this every year with us. We like harassing you, and we No, you take it well too. So we'll take it back when we deserve it, and it's not going to be this Sunday.
Nah, I hope it is. I pray, but the way I doubt it too.
Thanks, Keith.
All right, Keith. Thanks.
I appreciate you.
Chet, it's always good having Keith.
It is. He's fun. I like Keith.
He's fun, and he takes it well, and he gives it out a little bit too. That's good. Interesting stuff about the Sixers. We'll have to see how this all plays out, and of course everything again revolving around that Joel Embiid.
As soon as we wrap up our show tonight, I'm gonna head into my man cave and watch Sixers and Celtics. They're starting right about now.
There you go. Hey, Chet, Philly Press Box is part of the STT Sports Network, as in Set the Trends. It's a network set up by our pal, Phil Stiefel, the Beard of Knowledge, host of the terrific Trending in the AM show that you can find every weekday morning on the STT Sports Network YouTube channel. Check out Phil. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Phil's show is all there, and so is ours. Yep, you can find Philly Press Box Radio there, in addition to on our own YouTube channel and on our Facebook page. Again, it's the STT Sports Network setting the trends for what sports talk should be.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Chet, we're middle of October, headed toward November. Fall is here, Halloween. What's going on at the Irish Rover Station House?
It is indeed a fun fall at the Irish Rover Station House in Langhorne, PA. Terrific food and always 24 beers on tap. The Rover has trivia every Wednesday at 7, killer burger Thursdays, dinner specials Thursday through Sunday, and music most weekends. This Friday, with the help of a DJ, they're going to have a Back to the 80s party. Yeah, it is going to be rad, Bill. Rad. There you go.
Yeah.
There's live music Saturday night, Curtis Aaron Quarterman. And Saturday afternoon, they got something going on as well. It is a Corona event. The gang from Corona will be there with deals on buckets of Corona and various giveaway items, 2:30 to 4 p.m. this Saturday. Check this place out if you haven't yet done so. It is the Irish Rover Station House. They're located on Bellevue Avenue in Langhorne. Find them on the web at IrishRoverStationHouse.com.
Hey everybody, this is David Ossikin, the drummer of the Hooters. You're watching Bill and Chet on Philly Pressbox Radio. Go Phillies, go Birds. I'll see you at the concert.
And Bill, I chose David because the Hooters, for whom he drums, have two big shows, their annual pair of shows, this Friday and Saturday at the Keswick Theater in Glenside, PA. I will not be there this year, but I have seen them, I think, 6 times, and they are terrific.
Fantastic. Hey, I do have one question for you about the Rovers 80s
Back
night.
to the 80s, yeah.
Yeah, are you going over to the left side of your closet and get one of your 80s sweaters that I know you still have by decade?
We'll see.
One out?
We'll see. Yeah, I still have a lot of things in my closet from years.
Did I give up
ago.
the secret there? Was that not supposed to tell?
Let's move on, Bill.
80s, 90s, right on down the line.
Let's move on.
Let's move on. Hey, the Phillies first announced that skipper Rob Thompson would be returning. They followed that up with the entire coaching staff will be staying as well. You know, Chad, at first thought, it makes me think that the message to the players was this. It wasn't us, it was you. How do you feel about this move?
Yeah, probably so in terms of the message. And to a large extent, I think that is accurate. Lots of talent on this Phillies team. But as we discussed last week, the Stars just didn't get it done in those 3 NLDS losses to the Dodgers. So how do you change that? I don't know. I really thought they would make at least 1 or 2 changes with the staff, maybe make the hitting coach, Kevin Long, kind of the sacrificial lamb. But no, he is back, as is everybody else. They hired another guy, another bench coach or field manager, whatever the hell they're calling him. We will see what happens. And, we do know this. Some free agents will depart. 1 or 2 will likely be added. You hope that Justin Crawford and Andrew Painter can make the team next spring and contribute. But otherwise, who knows? What's your take?
Well, I guess Phillies management thinks that the leadership is fine. I don't know how many times you go back to that same well. Is it a rinse and repeat? Is there going to be enough change in the players that there could be a change in the in the way they play. I think that remains to be seen in the offseason, but I am surprised that all of them will be back.
Yeah, me too. We will talk more Phillies, of course, going through the fall and into the winter when we start to hear some rumors and official news. But meanwhile, we got a World Series starting this Friday. Dodgers, Blue Jays. Dodgers heavy favorites, minus 220. That means you got to bet $220 to win 100. The Blue Jays are plus 180. You bet 100, you win 180 if the Blue Jays prevail. Do they have a chance, Toronto?
They do. They do. And the only reason I said, I mean, the Dodgers pitching's loaded. There's no doubt about that. But, the Blue Jays had their backs against the wall. They lost the first two games. They came back and grinded their way, whatever the right word is, to a 7-game series win. And, you're there. You can win.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. I'll be watching. And how about that game Shohei Ohtani had in the clincher? 6 shutout innings, gave up 2 hits, hit 3 home runs.
Yeah, he was pretty good.
Yeah, he's all right.
he was pretty good. Their whole pitching staff is really, really good. So the starters. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm not counting Toronto out. It's not going to be a sweep, I don't think. And I'm hoping Toronto battles with them anyway.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Well, hey, you had a chance to visit with that fantastic local actor from Bethlehem, PA, that you introduced to us at the top of the show. Tell us about your visit with Daniel Roebuck.
Great chat with this guy. And when you see him and see more pictures of him in some of the shows and movies he's been in, you'll say, oh, yeah, I know that guy. Well, here's our chat. As soon as I make sure I hit the right button. There we go. Well, this will be fun. I get to talk with a successful Hollywood actor. He's got some 400 credits on his IMDb page, including several episodes of hit TV series like Matlock, the original, Lost, and 911, and movies such as Rob Zombie's Halloween and The Munsters, The Fugitive, Getting Grace, Terrifier 3, and more recently, Saint Nick of Bethlehem and The Hail Mary. Phew! We say hello to Daniel Roebuck. Hey, Danny.
Nice to see you. Thank you, everybody.
So let me ask you, first of all, how did a guy born and raised in the Lehigh Valley, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, end up as a pretty darn good and always busy actor?
Thank you for asking. Well, I thought I should be on TV from the time I was 6, and I talked about it all the time. And when you're 6 years old in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, saying you want to be on TV is like, might as well say, and then I'd like to go to the moon. Like, it doesn't make any sense. But you just have to make every decision in your life leading you to the path. The path was also the path I think God chose for me and directed me toward. So I think that's how it happens. I think the desire to be an actor was put in my heart, and the ability was put in my soul. And the stick-to-itiveness was taught to me by 2 very lovely, hardworking Pennsylvanian parents.
Awesome. Well, as a kid, I watched The Munsters back in the mid-late 60s, and you got to portray Grandpa Munster. How cool was that?
Dude, better than anything in my entire life. And I want to tell you, I've had a very good life. I've got a great wife. I've had some other great wives before, 2 amazing kids, perfect kids. I've worked with Tommy Lee Jones, Harrison Ford, Andy Griffith, Kathy Bates. You know, the list of the people I've stood next to is enormous. But when they said, Rob called and said, you want to play this? I said, if you're punking me, it would be the meanest thing that anybody's ever done to me in my entire life. And I loved it. Every second of it, I loved it. I worked with Fred. I knew Al, there's no one better to play that part than me. And so when it happened, I just thought, if you need a proof of God, this is it right here.
Hey, one of my favorite TV series ever was Lost, which you were on for, I think, 9 episodes. Do you remember your character's name? I know he suffered a tragic ending. And any special memories of your time on that legendary show?
Oh, yeah, Dr. Arst. Well, it was funny to come on and play the beautiful Evangeline Lilly.
I loved her. She's
a good person. I made good friend. You know, Jorge Garcia, is not only still a friend, but when Rob Zombie called and said, someone who might want to be in the Munsters, the first guy I thought of was Jorge. And, he said Rob had him at the Munsters. I played Dr. Arst, a kind of an arrogant, full of himself science teacher. He did get what he deserved, probably. But the great thing about Lost is, even though I exploded on TV 21 years ago almost, I exploded on TV, but there was time to come back. I realized recently, too, I made a post that's exactly half of my time in Hollywood. So exploding on TV today, I can look back and say that I was right in the middle of my journey.
To quote a line from SCTV, he blowed up real good.
He blowed up real good, yeah.
You sure did. You've been in several faith-based movies, including 2017's Getting Grace, which you actually co-wrote and directed. I just watched that actually recently, and I'm sure you're very proud of that one. You should be. It is terrific. Brought a few tears to my eyes watching that one.
You know, that's interesting. Chet, I invite your dudes to watch that movie, because generally a movie about a teenage girl with cancer wouldn't catch the hearts of, let's say, guys who love watching sports all Sunday. But I will tell you that a lot of men of a certain, of our age have watched it multiple times, because ultimately what it's about is a girl choosing her father. The movies I've made so far, that one, Lucky Louie, the Hail Mary coming out soon, Saint Nick, they're all essays on fatherhood. The second one I mentioned, Lucky Louie, was even more so because I wrote and directed it with my daughter, Grace Roebuck, who's an extremely talented young lady. So they're all kind of essays on fatherhood. And I think men have said to me, I've seen that movie 3-4 times. And I think it's because, in essence, I have no degradation of motherhood. I revere and respect motherhood. I myself had a fantastic mother. But, for so long in our society, the dads have been brushed aside as secondary. Chet, do you have kids? I don't know.
2 kids.
You have kids? 2 kids. So you know how important it is to impart on them, us men, what we impart. And I say this respectfully, you can write letters, but our job is to teach them morals and ethics. That's why we're there. Your job is to direct them towards intelligence. Got one job. So my movies are about that.
Well, last November, another one of your films, St. Nick of Bethlehem, had a nice big premiere at the Roxy Theater in Northampton. Everybody who saw it apparently raved about it, and I really want to see it. I hear it's coming out streaming December 1st.
Yeah, it'll be streaming December 1st, but it is playing again. I'll try to get it up in your area in Jersey, but it'll be again in the Lehigh Valley. So we're going to announce soon that it's going to open the day after Thanksgiving at Frank Benko Ale House. It's going to play at the Roxy in mid-November. So people will have an opportunity to come back and enjoy the film. It's, Santa returns every year. The big guy is back.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm going to get up to the Lehigh Valley and see that.
Oh, please.
I am so sorry. I missed this. I found out just last month that the good old Shankweiler's Drive-In, which I drive past all the time, actually did a double feature last November of St. Nick of Bethlehem and Terrifier 3. Very different movies, but you playing Santa in both of those. Man, I wish I had known about that at the time.
What a crazy night. I said, could you show St. Nick first, please? Because let people leave.
I love Terrifier 3, by the way. Hey, I talked with you out in Pittsburgh, as we mentioned, at Monster Bash, run by my good friend and your pal Ron Adams in late June. And you were really excited about the upcoming film, The Hail Mary. Again, You wrote and directed this one. You're one of the stars in it as well. And I believe you said it combines faith and football. Tell me more about the Hail Mary.
Yeah, so it's about a fella needs redemption terribly. He stumbles into the path of a very smart nun, religious sister, but we would call them nuns, even though nuns are cloistered, a religious sister. And to lead him toward his redemption, she cons him into creating a football team for her all-boys Catholic school. So he has no intention of helping her. And by the end of the movie, again, it's an allegory of fatherhood. It turns out these boys all need someone to show them the path, the ethics and morality, and it's a comedy. So we just won a great award at the Santa Barbara Independent Film Festival. We were the best feature at the festival, and I think we won the most inspirational award at the Prescott International Film Festival. But watching people see it in Prescott, watching people sustain laughs for 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, very great feeling for me. Because, it's like the coaches, right? They come up with a play, they get the right team, they execute the play, and they can go, "We did that, and we scored." So that's me. Whenever I get the laughs right where I knew there'd be, that's my touchdown.
And these films, by the way, part of your program, A Channel for Peace. What is A Channel for Peace?
A channel of peace. A channel of peace. No worries. People can go to achannelofpeace.org and they can see our vision and our journey. The idea is to make faith-fused family entertainment. This is very important to me. In the 70s, we would go see the Poseidon Adventure, and it was a movie. Now you might consider the Poseidon Adventure a faith-based film, because really when you look at it, it's not just about a ship turning over. It's about a guy who is having a crisis of faith, and he finds through his own self-sacrifice the path to God. That's what's in the center of the Poseidon Adventure. So my movies are like that. They would have just been called movies. But in them, generally, there's a journey for a character to kind of find the path towards the light. If you go to channelpeace.org, you'll see how we do it. We always need partners in filmmaking. That means donations. I haven't figured out a way to pay myself through this not-for-profit, although many other not-for-profits have figured it out. I would rather put the money on the screen. Nobody named Roebuck gets paid. That is why my daughter got married and changed her name. And she made a point of reminding me that she's no longer a Roebuck, so we could direct her checks to her bank.
Hey, I mentioned the Hail Mary being somewhat about football. And speaking to that, having been born and raised in Bethlehem, PA, you are an Eagles fan. And after, all of us suffering through some rough years in the early 70s and even into the 90s, how nice was it to see them win not one, but 2 Super Bowls over the last 8 seasons?
How wonderful. And I want to tell you, we would sit, my old man, we went to the games. My dad, I don't know how he afforded it, but he had season tickets. And my brother Johnny and I got to go to 2 games. And I think every other year we got to go to a Monday night game. It wouldn't matter. If they were losing 42-0, we did not leave the stadium. You do not leave the stadium. And I will tell you that I've had to adapt 3 different women to the Roebuck lifestyle. Every one of them now knows that we're the last at the amusement park. We're the last out of church on Christmas Eve. We're the last, wherever we are. But always loved them. Look, if you really are a fan, you're a fan for life. It doesn't matter. Just like loving your kids, at some point, you get maybe the cops knock on the door and go, "We brought your son home," and you're like, I still got to love him, the little son of a gun. That's how it was the Eagles in the 70s, 80s. You still had to love them even though they let you down.
Oh, you got that right. Well, Danny, I knew this would happen. We're pretty much out of time. I didn't get to half of the questions I had for you, but
let's do it again.
Well, I'll tell you what, in an effort to get to a couple of more topics, in our final 2 minutes, let's play a game of Fast 5. 5 questions, 5 brief answers. You got 20 to 30 seconds max for each of these questions, okay? Here we go.
Do it.
Number 1, you spent several years on the original Matlock. Give me a favorite memory of working with Andy Griffith.
Everything about Matlock was perfect. 3 years with one of the greatest actors who ever lived, a television icon. The best part about working with Andy Griffith was in the morning I would come to work and he would hand me a script and say, "Danny, make it funny." And we would work it out and put more jokes in it.
Awesome. Number 2, I mentioned that the original Halloween was my favorite horror flick. What's yours?
My favorite horror flick is an older Gothic horror, The Bride of Frankenstein is my favorite. Although I will tell you, to me, still the scariest movie, and I think the best faith-based movie ever made is The Exorcist. Because if you believe in our Catholic faith, then The Exorcist should terrify you.
Absolutely. Number 3, what is a favorite memory of your formative years in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania?
Well, finding the Pennsylvania Playhouse was a key element of my future success. I walked into the Playhouse when I was 13, and I didn't walk out again until I left town. And I did other theater elsewhere, but the Playhouse and the Sisters of St. Joseph of Philadelphia were both key, and I had great parents and great brothers and sisters and friends.
As I said, I've talked with you at both Monster Mania Con and Monster Bash in Pittsburgh. What is the best thing about doing conventions like that?
Well, I get to meet my fellow Monster fans, and those are, two different things. Like Monster Mania is a great time to meet and converse with people of modern horror films. Monster Bash is a great time to meet and converse with people who love classic horror film. And that's why they're different. And that's why I love going, because I get to meet friends and make friends at both places.
Yeah. And finally, Danny, you and your lovely wife, Tammy, will soon celebrate your 10th anniversary. You said you knew when you met her in 2012 that she was a keeper. Why so?
Well, she's, easy on the eyes. Then it turns out she's a great film editor and a great film producer. And without her direct intervention, we would not have been able to make 5 movies in less than 8 years. And that's 5 movies from beginning to end with no studio help. We made them on our own independently, help of other producers, but no studio. We had to find the money, hire the people, make the movie, put the movie out. And so I couldn't have done it without her, and she is the perfect partner. And my kids love her.
So nice to have met her in June. Hey, follow Danny Roebuck on Facebook and Instagram. He's Mr. Daniel Roebuck on that latter platform. He's a great follow. Danny, this was a blast. Happy Halloween, and go Birds.
Thank you. God bless. Go Birds. I'll see everybody soon.
Chet, I'm going to tell you, that was really good. Really good.
That was so much fun. So much fun.
I mean, he's the kind of guy, I don't think you're going to meet him at the bar for a beer,
yeah.
but he's the kind of guy you can meet at the diner over a cup of coffee and probably talk for hours and hours. What a down-to-earth fella.
What a career, 40 plus years acting with Andy Griffith and so many others. The Fugitive movie with Tommy Lee Jones. And I should mention that interview that we just aired was about 15 minutes in length. The full 22-minute interview will be available at 8 o'clock, and it'll be on my Random Chet YouTube channel. So I will post about that over the next hour or so. But yeah, we talk more about his relationship with Rob Zombie, some of the collectible items that he's got out there, and some other fun stuff. So yeah, Daniel Roebuck, great guy. And I will be going to see the big screen version of St. Nick of Bethlehem, November 14th up in Northampton, PA. And that's going to be a fun event. Tickets are now available. So check out Daniel Roebuck on Facebook or Instagram.
Excellent. Great work.
Thanks.
Hey, Chet, what could be better than the Eagles tailgating with the best tailgaters in Philadelphia, Bob Cavanaugh and the gang of Cavs Philly tailgates?
Well, you got that right, Bill. You know how I love Cavs catering. They do such a great job. They've been cooking up that terrific catering business for some 35 years. You know them best for their tailgate parties. Cavs is a 3-time winner of Philly Tailgate's Jack Daniels Great American Tailgate Party Contest and a past winner of the Philly Daily News Tailgate Award. Cavs also does corporate events, parties, you name it. Of course, Cav hosts tailgates before all Eagles games outside the link. And that includes, this Sunday when the Birds take on the Giants. I will be there for that game. My pal Denny will be there with me. We just may crash this tailgate that Cav has going on before the game. There are also tailgates before the Lions and Bears games in November. Get all the details on all events at Cav's website, phillytailgates.com. And if you have questions, you can email them at cavscatering@verizon.net. Cavs Philly Tailgates is the way to go.
Absolutely. Hey, Chet, great guest tonight at Keith Pompey and Daniel Roebuck. Who's coming to Philly Pressbox Radio next week?
Next week, Bill, we will talk mostly Eagles, but maybe some other Philly sports as well with this guy, the managing editor from Philly Sports Network, PSN, Brian Cameron. He's been on with us twice before. Yep. He'll be back again next week, so that'll be fun.
Looking forward to it. Hey, Chad, it's time to make our weekly picks. It was not a great week for you. It was much better week for me. How did Boop, Bob Atrone Jr., you and me do in the week?
I don't want to talk about it, but let's just skip this entire segment this week. It was bad.
Well, okay. I can tell you, Robert's going to be happy.
Yeah, he's
look who's back on top.
Wait, there we go. Yep, pick 'em standings. You were 4-1 last week. Boop 3-2. I was 2-3. So I am now firmly in last place. You are indeed at the top of the heap, Bill.
You know, things just seem to line up the way they're supposed to, Chet.
No. Let's get to it.
Yeah, let's clarify how we make our picks this year. We're picking a winner of 5 games every week. No point spreads. Always the NFC East games. Always the Sunday night game. And then we throw in an additional game as needed to get to 5. So this week's games, Chet, Dallas at Denver, Broncos -3.5. Who does Boop have?
All right, let's see what Boop has to say. Oh, that was in a separate email. He forgot to send that one, apparently, and he said he sent that second email separately. So here we go. Oh, listen to this. Boop says, Denver's score by quarter Sunday looked like my alcohol level as it progressed through a random 1980s Saturday night. 0-0-0-33. That's good, Boop.
That is.
His pick is the Broncos. Yeah, I'm going to take Denver also. A, because I think they're a better team. B, because I just want to see the Cowboys lose.
Well, you're going to lose because Dallas is going to win this game.
Whoa.
Denver's not pulling a rabbit out of their hat this week like they did last week. That was pretty incredible. All right. Washington at Kansas City. Monday Night Football. Chiefs are -10.5.
Okay. Let's see.
And Marcus Mariota is playing quarterback, by the way.
Yeah, I know. So that does not bode well. All right. Boop says Patrick Mahomes has beaten teams with his arms and his legs and his eyes. And now his mouth. I am afraid to ask what body part is next. Boop's pick is the Chiefs. Man, I wish I had them available still as a margin of victory suicide pool pick because Casey's going to win this one easily.
Yes, absolutely. Big game here Sunday Night Football. Green Bay is at Pittsburgh. The Packers, the road team, are -3.5.
Boop says, since the 1970 merger, Pittsburgh has finished outside the top 3 in its division exactly twice, just 2 times. 1988 when there were 4 teams and 1999 when they were 6 teams. His pick is the Steelers. How about that? No, I'm taking Green Bay on the road.
And that's why you're in last place, because I'm taking the Steelers too.
Really?
Yeah, they're at home. They're at home. They're going to win that game on Sunday Night Football.
Good. Sorry.
Well, I think if you look at their record, they're not that bad.
Yeah,
there you go. Throw-in game. Vikings at the Chargers. Thursday Night Football. Chargers -3.5.
Boop says the last team to play in Dublin, London, and Los Angeles within 26 days was the traveling cast of the Phantom of the Opera. Man, Boop was on fire this week.
He was on fire.
Commentary. His pick is the Chargers. My pick is the Chargers as well.
And my pick's the Vikings because I watched the Chargers play the Colts last week.
Yeah.
And they had no answers from the opening kickoff of that game. It was never close.
Yeah, I was surprised the Chargers were favored by 3.5. So, but I'm taking them.
Yep. All right. Giants and Eagles, the Birds -7.5.
All right.
By the way, you didn't pick the Eagles this past week.
I did everybody a favor, so you are welcome, everybody. I told you my philosophy on that. Whoever I picked was going to lose. That's why I took Minnesota.
It's bad enough you're going to this game.
All right. Boop says, now that AJ and Devontae have gotten back on track, it's time to get Saquon off and running roughshod over incoming New Yorkers. Boop's pick is the Eagles. My pick is the Eagles, but I don't think they cover the 7.5.
Well, don't bet your money. Eagles win in this game, and they will cover the 7.5.
All right.
All right. Next up is our margin of victory. Well, by the way, we didn't have many picks the same, so you're in big trouble. Next up is our margin of victory pool. How are our standings after 7 weeks?
There you go. Last week, you guys both picked Kansas City, and they won big, scoring 31 points. So, yeah, that hurt me. I'm 7-0, Bill. I haven't gotten a pick wrong yet, but I'm in last place. I took Chicago. They won by 12. So, Boop is up by 27 points on you. He's up by 38 points on me, despite my undefeated record.
All right. So who is Boop picking this week?
Oh, that is a great question. Boop's pick is the Colts over the Titans.
That's a good pick.
Indiana. Uh-oh. Bill, I didn't make my pick yet.
Oh
no.
Unprepared. That gets you an X.
Oh.
Quick, grab one.
All right. I'll tell you what. You talk for 30 seconds and make your pick.
I will go ahead and make my pick. I am taking the Atlanta Falcons over the hapless Miami Dolphins. They stink.
That's a good one.
I can't believe Mike McDaniel still even has a job. They're
that is shocking.
Bad. They are that
shocking.
bad. So
I'm struggling to find my schedule here. Hang on. I got this. I'm sorry, everybody. All right. Let's see.
Do you do show prep at all? Or you just
I did everything except make my margin of victory pick. It still says Chicago over New Orleans, which was last week's pick. I forgot to update that. So let's see. All right. I got to see who I have used. I can't, screw that up too, can I? Let's see. Bill, I think I got to do the same as you. I got to take those Atlanta Falcons. I'm sorry. I would have taken them anyway. I'm not just following you, but I'm taking the Atlanta Falcons.
That's one way not to lose any ground.
Yeah.
All right. One final fearless prediction. How many wins for the Sixers? What does Boop say? What do you say?
That's in here too. That is in here too. Hang on. Let's see what Boop has to say about the 76ers. Boop says they become the first team in NBA history to score the exact same number of points as they allow over the course of a season. And with that, he also predicts a 41-41 campaign. So Boop says 41. Keith Pompey said 41 or 42. Now, as you recall, I bet the Sixers going under 42.5. So I predict the Sixers will win 43 games just to screw me.
Well, I'll tell you, Chet, I have my sheet here, and it's got a scribble out on it, as you can see. I had 40.
Yeah.
And then the more I thought about it and the more I listened to Keith again, 34.
34.
You guys, they're not sucking me in. They're not doing it. They're not good. They're not good. They haven't done a whole lot to get better. There's no reason other than maybe they can be healthy. Maybe that's the only chance they get. They're not any good. And I'm not getting sucked in.
We had some other comments here on the Sixers. Robert said 76ers will not make the playoffs.
Denny said they stink.
Denny said they stink. Somebody said Embiid stinks. Robert said Joel Embiid needs to stay healthy. KP filled with great PG news. LOL. Yeah, not exactly.
Right.
Keith is a good guy. Here we go. 53 wins. Nooms. 53 wins, Nooms. Come on, what are you smoking?
Nooms. Come on, man. He's sucked in, that's for sure.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right. Well, hey, we ran out of Flyers time this week because we went a little long.
Flyers playing well. Dan Vladar apparently has taken the number one goalie job. So, yeah, keep it going. Way to go, Fly guys.
Yep. They play in Ottawa next tomorrow night. So
wrap it up, Bill.
We'll check that up. Let's wrap it up. Let's thank tonight's special guests, Keith Pompey and Daniel Roebuck, our sponsors, the Irish Rover Station House, Cavs Philly Tailgate, and PPCC 118 Raz Room. For Jim Chet Chesko, this is Bill Furman. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll join Philly Pressbox Radio next Wednesday, October the 29th at 7 p.m. You can see us live on Facebook, on our Philly Pressbox Radio YouTube channel, and on the STT Sports Network YouTube channel, and listen on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and all the others. High hopes, Philadelphia sports fans. Check your blood pressure.
Wilford Brimley from the grave. In the chat room. I love it. Thank you, Wilford.
Go Birds. Let's go Flyers and go Sixers.
Oh, my goodness. Let's see. Let's go with the Sixers. I don't have the Sixers theme ready to go, so we will therefore go with the Eagles fight song.
Let's do the song. 1,